Have you ever wondered why dreams are so weird? This is Jewish Life 101. Welcome to Jewish Life 101, the podcast where we tackle any topic from a Jewish perspective, from the way that a Jew would look at it. Today's topic is dreams. Before we start, I'd like to remind everybody that you don't need any background knowledge in order to be able to listen to this podcast. Anything that might need explanation that we're not going to state today, we will point out that we will or have stated at a different time. Let's get started. Today we're talking about dreams. Dreams is this thing that our brain comes up with in our sleep that's very weird. It's not like it's a normal walking through the street day, everything's happening like it would in real life. Our brain's imagining a weird reality. We jump around, we feel things and then decide what it is. We want something without knowing it, etc. Why are dreams so weird? Why are dreams such a messed up version of reality? The Torah discusses that there's a concept of sleep, so to speak, above. In order to explain that, it explains how sleep is down here below by us. It explains the reason why is because the way we are is similar to the way that things are above. So in order for the person to be able to understand how things are above, they look at themselves. So the spiritual sleep is just like the physical sleep. What are the details that we see by the physical sleep? A difference between when someone's awake and someone who sleeps is not that they exist or they don't exist. The person exists, all his limbs exist, all his abilities exist. We see that he still wants stuff. We see that he still thinks. This is shown in his dream. But when he's awake, it's all in an orderly fashion. First, he has a will, he has a want towards something. He recognizes he enjoys something. Then he thinks about it. And once he thinks about it, he starts caring about it, or he fears it when he realizes that when there's something bad to it, or he has an ought to it. If he realizes that it's awesome, there's an order. Through that order, we're able to see that some of them are closer to the soul, and that's why they come first. And we're also able to see that some of them rule over the other ones. For example, not in every case, but the way that a person should be is that their mind rules over their emotions, which shows that the mind is higher. Now, importance and unimportance to the abilities of the soul, because it's all in the realm of the soul, how close they are to the soul. The ones that are earlier have concepts that show that they are closer to the soul. For example, they express more of the soul, they express more of the person themselves than they do of the external world. Or they have more of just the person themselves than they have of the external world in their process. Or that they're more abstract or more limited. The soul doesn't really have the limits of the world. And if this is more abstract, then it's close to how the soul is. If it's more limited, it's closer to how the world is. But if they're all messed up, we don't really see that, oh, this is like that and that's like that, because they're just happening at the same time. There's not, oh, this, let's say the mind works in a way where it's more the person's thinking to the outside world. And then there's my feelings. I like how I connect to the other thing, which is more an external thing. Rather, when someone's sleeping, it's just, he'll think about it and want it at the same time. He'll want it and then realize what he's wanting. There's no order. So that's the facts by a dream over reality. What causes this difference? Like we explained, the importance of the different abilities of the soul is based off the soul themselves. Now, what happens when someone sleeps? What changes in the person? Their abilities become in a hidden way. Meaning they're not in a way where they're revealed in the person fully. Rather, they retract back to their source, which is the soul. The abilities all come from the soul. The person's source, the deep down what he is, from that comes his abilities that let him think, that empower his brain to think, power his hands to move, power him to feel. So it goes back to its source, and only a ray of it stays in the body. Now, the soul itself is not mind, willpower, emotions, etc. It's the soul. All those are in a hidden way inside of it. And it's in a way inside of it where they're all equal because they're hidden. They're not revealed in different levels, or this one's first and that one's after. Also, in relation to the importance of each part, the soul looks at all of them as equally unimportant, technically. They all have the same importance. All of them are expressions of the soul. When I think about something, my soul is expressing myself. When I want something, my soul is expressing himself. When I connect to something, my soul is expressing itself. So it sees all these capabilities as equal. And they're also all mushed into one place. They're mushed into the capability of the soul. They don't exist in their own details yet. Now, for the emotions, since they have this since they have the perspective of the soul where they see themselves as technically even more important than they did before, earlier they only saw the importance that, do I have of the soul? Do I have more of the soul or less of it? Am I greater than the other capabilities? Am I weaker than the other capabilities? But now it sees that its entire existence is an expression of the soul. That's the ultimate purpose of why it really exists. The real reason why the soul would ever make itself have an emotional response to something, or a logical or logically think about something, is only to express itself. So that's the ultimate purpose of each of these faculties, each of these capabilities in a person. So therefore, they're recognizing their truest, purest form, the fact that they express the soul. But they're all in one place. Now, since these are in the soul, which the soul is hidden from the expressed version of a person, the person doesn't necessarily feel the soul. So in the expressed parts of these abilities, the person's working mind, the working emotions, etc., which are just this point, array of these capabilities, which retracted back into the soul, these capabilities that went back to the soul when he's sleeping to regain energy, regain vitality, only have the part of these abilities, which are array of the ones that are currently in the soul, only have one of these two things. We said that there are two things. There's the fact that they're all equal, because they're all just expressions of the soul, and they don't have differences right now because they're all included in the soul, who's not built up a bunch of different things. Rather, one thing is the capabilities for a bunch of different things, and these all exist in a way of capability. But we also said that they recognize their great value at that time. But this expression of these abilities only have the fact that they're all equal. It currently doesn't feel the soul because the soul is not a really revealed thing. So these only connect to the ability that it comes from. And then that, it only sees the fact that they're all even. It doesn't see this unique new perspective which shows how great they are. That's why when a person sleeps, he'll have all his capabilities working as an expression of these abilities, but they'll all be mixed up. They'll all be like even you don't recognize how one's greater than the other because they come from a place where neither of them greater than the other, and all of them are technically even. They don't go 1, 2, 3. They don't go first you want something in order to think about it, etc. So to summarize, the difference between when a person sleeps and when a person is awake is when a person is awake, all of his abilities, all of his faculties are in an orderly fashion. First he'll want, then he'll think about it, and then he'll connect to it. Not so when he's sleeping, he could connect to something and then decide what it is, figure out what it is in a logical perspective, and then he'll want it, etc. It could be backwards, it could be all at once. And we explained that this because the abilities are not in a revealed way in the body as expressed from the soul, but rather they went back to their source and now they're in the soul. Which causes two things. Number one, there's no difference between them because they're in the soul itself, which doesn't have them as separate, different active things, rather one big ball of capability. But what's there as a recognizable thing by itself is only the soul, not individual faculties. So the abilities are all equal. But they also have the concept where they see the soul's perspective on them. That they exist as a thing which is expressing the soul. Which down here they didn't see that earlier. Earlier they might have saw how one is greater. They saw each other as greater or unimportant based off of one is greater than the other. If they have more of the soul. But not as their ultimate true purpose of being to express the soul. But out of these two things, only one of them expresses itself in the active parts of the person. When he's sleeping. Only the part which is the fact that it's one big mush, one big equal ball of abilities, because it doesn't feel the soul actively, which that is what gives it this perspective, giving it the soul's perspective. These active parts don't feel the soul, so it doesn't have the perspective of the soul. We mentioned earlier that this concept the Torah explains on its way to being able to explain what sleep is above, on a spiritual sense. Next week we're going to explain that, and that is a flip side of this week. We'll take these different concepts, the concept that down here it's all mixed up. When it goes to a higher place, when it goes closer to its source, it sees a new perspective, and that makes it even greater, or makes it recognize itself as a greater thing, and it regains vitality. We'll explain all those things on a spiritual sense next week. As an introduction to that, we're going to explain this week the beginning of that process. We say that how things are spiritually are affected by the way that things are in this physical realm. So we having a physical sleep causes a spiritual sleep. Now, this physical sleep that causes a spiritual sleep is not the sleep of going to sleep 8 hours a night. It's a sleep on our service to God. If our service to God is in a way of sleep, meaning that we don't really care about it, it doesn't really have a life to it, it's not considered important, that causes a sleep above. That it doesn't give importance to holier things, to greater things, to more important things. Next week, we'll explain how that relates to all the specific details of sleeping itself. So the ultimate lesson of both these episodes combined will be at the end of next week, but for now we could take away that we know that considering Torah and mitzvahs, considering our service to God unimportant is what causes the sleep. So the solution is obviously to not consider them unimportant. In that way, the important things, holier things in the world also will be considered more important. And good will be considered on a higher level than bad. This point, we can already understand that happens through doing the right thing and through us ourselves considering the right thing more important than the less important thing. But we'll see how that goes a step deeper in next week's episode. Make sure to follow in order to see when that comes out. And in the meanwhile, I wish you a great, amazing rest of your day. And we'll see you next time on Jewish Life 101. If you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to share with a friend. Here at Jewish Life 101, we spend many hours on every single episode, and it's all with your support. Just click the link in the description to find out more, and we'll see you next time on Jewish Life 101.